As you are all aware, I'm down to the point of putting stripes on the side of this manure spreader, and next I need to put the lettering inside those panels that I put those border stripes on. I've been studying the pictures that Jeff Marshall has sent, and I did visit with him a little bit via email on some of the choices he made for his, but these are some of the pictures that he sent me that I've been sorting through. When this company started making manure spreaders in 1890, they were called Smith Manure Spreader Company. Well, that changed, I think he says, in 1904, and they changed to Smith Manufacturing Company. Well, he sent me a black and white picture of an old manure spreader in use, and I have shared this before. And if I zoom in close, you can see fairly clearly just the style of the lettering that is on this manure spreader. But you'll notice that it is Smith Manure Spreader Company, not Smith Manufacturing. And if I try to zoom in on the cast hub on the rear wheels, I think I can make out on that casting, with some guessing, Smith Manure Spreader Company. Well, my manure spreader is Smith Manufacturing Company. So that raises a question. Is the styling and the lettering of Smith Manure Spreader Company correct for mine? But if I go back to the black and white photo, you can just make out the black border stripe, but the yellow inner stripe is fairly bold, and then as you notice, the letters are the same shade as the yellow stripe, which leads me to think that the lettering on this black and white photo is in yellow, not in black. This is just one of those things that Jeff mentioned, that you just got to pick something and go with it, and he chose the color advertising for the color scheme on his, which is probably perfectly fine. But when I look at this color advertising, I noticed something that was different. On the front panel that has lettering in it, you can clearly see Smith, and then I have highlighted, you can see manufacturing, but it is on a type of a sweeping curve. And then in the second panel, you can see Great Western, Great on one line, Western on the second. And then you can also make out the curve of Endless Apron. Then underneath it is pretty blurry, you can't make it out, but I'm guessing it is manure spreader. This would fall in line with the context of what was put on the older black and white photo, but I think the styling is different. And you'll also notice on the black and white photo that it looks like the lettering is all in a stencil style. But on the yellow advertising picture, because of the curvature of manufacturing and Endless Apron, it makes it far more difficult for this to be a stencil style. And so I don't think that this style, after the 1904, when Smith Manure Spreader Company changed to Smith Manufacturing, it looks to me like their lettering style changed. But in all fairness, to make a case for the black lettering, in the very first picture that I showed you, it's fairly dark, assuming that this is a red color, which would appear dark in black and white. You can see all the yellow stripes. The border stripes around each of the panel seem to have a double yellow stripe, but you can hardly make out the black lettering, but it is definitely there. And there also are some additional stripes on the flare sides on the rear of the spreader. And if we look at the picture of this advertising full color picture, you can also see some signs of the stripes on the rear of that spreader as well. On the black and white photo, it's a little more difficult to see. Possibly it's there, I'm not really sure. So at the bottom of this all, there is some evidence that there were some variations through the course of the history of this company. Pre-1904, Smith Manure Spreader Company. After 1904, Smith Manufacturing Company. And I think that's the era that I am in. So I'm going to do more of the style of letter that comes off of this advertising picture with the curved manufacturing and Endless Apron. Past that, I'm kind of prone to lean toward the yellow lettering. It might not be correct, I'm really not sure, but I like the way it stands out, and that seems to fall into character with the company wanting to make their manure spreaders really stand out in a very competitive market. That's where I'm leaning. Well, this is the first step of laying out all the letters for this sign. I still have this ongoing question in my head. Do I do yellow letters? Do I do black? What do you think? Appreciate you following along. Thanks for watching.